Hey guys, it's Jessica. Today I want to cover the one interesting speculative question that was in Tomorrow War. Tomorrow War is a sci-fi war movie featuring Chris Pratt, released on Amazon Prime July 2nd. I've already done a reaction, review, kind of over-the-top fun video on it here. In that video, I talked about how it was like an okay movie, mostly there for visual flair, but it wasn't delivering any of the speculative, interesting science fiction beats that I look for in my science fiction. You know, there wasn't any questioning or looking for something more or trying to learn something or get a point across, nothing like that. And in fact, there were a lot of plot holes and things happening in that movie that didn't make sense. There was one interesting question that the Tomorrow War asked, and it didn't answer it in the story. But you know what? I'm here for speculative science fiction. We're going to ask the question, and then we're going to talk about it here today. So when the future people come back and ask the past people to please help them with this war, the overall arching question there is, are you prepared to sacrifice your present for the potential of the future? And I actually think this is a really interesting and relevant question for us to talk about today. The number one way we could discuss this is from an environmental position. Are we willing to step back from some luxuries and conveniences to help preserve the earth? And I really think that the movie was trying to connect this.
Are you prepared to sacrifice some things for the good of the future?
And like a global warming message, even though it doesn't do it well, because they do mention like the ice caps are melting and that's why the aliens break free. And technically it is an environmental tragedy that is creating an extinction level event. Yeah, it's like a more graphic, hoorah, alien, arguably external threat, but the whole thing is kicked off by global warming. The crash-landed alien spaceship could have stayed under the glacier forever and we would have never had this issue. It's the global warming melting that glacier that lets the alien free. So it is sort of like an argument like,
take care of things now and then it'll be better in the future.
Another way that we could look at this is with the current pandemic. Are you wearing your mask? Are you getting your vaccine? Are you doing everything you can do to help protect the people around you? And if you're not doing that, why aren't you doing it? Like within the Tomorrow War situation specifically, people might not be signing up for the draft or going into the future because they're losing their lives. Almost no one is coming back from these 7-day tours. And they're not being given a lot of information. So they're going in blind to a situation with low outcome success. So it makes sense in the Tomorrow War why people aren't signing up and going forward, even though they realize that them signing up and putting their life on the line is going to benefit their kids, their grandkids, humanity as a whole. We could ask why the people coming and asking for this from the past aren't more open. Why haven't they shared more information about the aliens? Why aren't we building technology to send forward? Why aren't we looking at different biological components of these aliens and seeing if we can break it down with the labs we have now? Specifically, within the scenario of the Tomorrow War, we can see where each side is being reasonable and unreasonable. Because the people who come back from the future, they know if they do nothing, they're dead. What they're asking for, and the way they're asking for it though, does seem to be unreasonable, and it does seem like they haven't explored all their options. So if you are the person who's asking for something from someone else, you should be open to counter offers, to exploring further options, and to overall just having that discussion. And if you're the person who is being asked to give something up, you should see what it is that that person wants you to give up, see what the gain is, the likelihood of success, all of those elements. You should be open to that person, even if you don't want to do what they're asking you to do, because they're coming to you from a place of a real need for them in their life. There's a real threat and danger. So I just think that this movie surprisingly has a moment within it that could be very speculative and could teach us a lot. And it's nice to talk about it in the context of the Tomorrow War versus like an environmental standpoint or a COVID standpoint, or even another way this could apply is like when a minority asks the majority for help correcting an injustice or for help leveling the playing field. Because when we get into the specifics of those topics, we have to deal with some of the baggage that comes with that. Like in the case of a minority asking something from the majority, we have to deal with the fact that the minority is often dismissed and overlooked, that they're often told they're being unreasonable, suggesting to them that they might be unreasonable in a real-life situation creates resentment, and it doesn't further discussion. And on the flip side, for the person who's being asked something, it might seem like they are being asked to sacrifice their lives, but really they're being asked to give up, Taco Tuesday or whatever. But when we talk about Tomorrow War, those people really are going and probably sacrificing their lives. So we can see the extreme end on both sides and really consider those sides. And hopefully by thinking about those elements, like this minority group here is asking for something, and if we don't give it to them, the whole world will be destroyed. The majority that's being asked this thing to actually go do it probably means that they or a lot of them will be sacrificing their lives. When you put it in this hypothetical science fiction scenario, you can both see each other's point of view and realize that more conversation has to happen, understand why each person might be heated or emotionally invested in a way that maybe from just your own perspective, whether you're the minority or the majority, you just didn't see before. And I think that's really the beauty of science fiction, which is why I wanted to share that little tidbit from the Tomorrow War. What about you guys? Is there anything you would give up now in your present so that you could have a better future? Are there any other scenarios that you can think of that this would apply to? And where do you fall on those sides? Share that in the comments down below. I want to recommend my science fiction playlist. Most of the things there are going to be more speculative. They're going to bring larger overarching themes that we can apply in the same way I did with this Tomorrow War to our present or to situations around us. And maybe they give us a chance to think in a more safe way about these scenarios so that we can be more objective and compassionate when we move forward with solutions. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!